Okay.
Okay, YouTube is live.
You cannot see blessing. No.
Okay, well, YouTube is live.
Yes, it's showing that it's live right now.
Right.
Let me just keep sharing.
So I think we should admit people now. Let me just hold on. You can admit people, right? You know how to do it. No biggie.
I don't know how to do it. I'm not even seeing the
Just
admitting
click
thing.
admit.
I'm
Okay,
not
I've not
seeing
made
it.
you. I've not made you admin. Have you?
Yes, sir.
Sorry, I
No,
need to make a post.
live.
Where are you? Where are you? So, co-host. So you have a lot of. I don't know. I will also
Eight.
mute everybody. So
Yes,
when they
sir.
want to speak, we'll ask them to raise their hand. So we'll have to enable them to speak so that we don't have background noise. You get.
Yes, sir.
So we need to also go into the community and share. There's one message I say you should share. We're live now.
I've sent it already.
Okay, good. Maths. Right. So we can go back to our music.
Sir, before we go back to the music, how do I address her? Just Chinwe, right?
Chiwendu. Chiwendu. Please don't make mistake with her name. My name is Chiwendu.
Chiwendu. Yeah, I'm confident with the name, but like no man, no miss, no auntie.
This thing is on
Just
YouTube. Just Chiwendu.
okay. Okay,
I have to
sir.
put this part on YouTube. So we're live.
All right.
Okay. So admit people. You can admit people in the waiting room when the music starts playing.
Or when it's 4 on dot.
Okay. Why is it not playing? Let's admit them now.
I don't know if it's my Zoom or I'm sorry. I cannot admit anybody right now.
Okay, I will admit them.
Thank you, sir. I'm
Just
not
drop a
seeing.
message in the chat box. Please, we are going live now, so you can't be talking with me. We're going live now. People are joining. Do you understand?
Yes, sir. So once it's 4, I start, right?
Yes. So I'm admitting them now. Just wait, don't say anything. If you want to say anything, chat with me on WhatsApp. All right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hello, can we hear me? Good afternoon. Good afternoon,
Yes,
everyone.
we can hear you.
You can hear me, right? Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Yes, we can hear you.
We can hear
Good
you.
evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone. And a very warm welcome to the January edition of the MSME Africa Business Growth Series. My name is Favor Christian, and I am honored to be your moderator for this session. So before we begin, let's get the energy up. Send in your emojis. Send in your emojis. Let's see them in the chats. Please send in your emojis right now. And please drop a message in the chat box and let us know your name and where you're joining us from. Can we do that very quickly? Let's know your name and where you're joining us from. We can send in our emojis too. Uluwatoyin from Lagos, you're welcome. I'm still waiting for a number of persons. Drop in the chat box. Let us know where you're joining us from. And while you're doing that, please look through the participant list. If there is a colleague or a friend who should be here but hasn't joined yet, please send them a quick reminder we have started. We also have our YouTube live link available in the chat. Feel free to share that across your networks so others can benefit from today's insights. So, moving on, to officially set the stage for this evening, I would like to invite a visionary leader who is deeply committed to the growth of the African MSME ecosystem. Please join me in welcoming the founder of MSME Africa, Mr. Sheye Olurotimi. The floor is yours, sir.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone, and I hope we're doing well. How are we doing today? So, I want to see your response in the chat box. Are you feeling good? Are you fine? How is business? And are you excited to be on this program? Also, drop something that tells me your expectation. What do you expect to gain from this session? I would love to see all of that in the comment section, even as I welcome you to this webinar. All right. So today we'll be looking at how to apply for the Tony Elumelu um, Foundation program. And a lot of time, what happens is this: we post opportunities every single day on MSME Africa. For some people, the problem is not lack of access to opportunity. For some of them, the problem is not knowing how to apply for those opportunities. And whether you like it or not, Tony Elumelu Foundation opportunity will come out every fourth day of January, every single year, and it will close in March. So we've had a lot of people say, I've applied 3, 4, 5 times, I've not been admitted into the program. And then it feels terrible when you see other people get into the program, learn a lot of things about business, and get $5,000 as funding. And that's why we're doing this today. And this is the very first business growth series for this year. I mean, we actually had a long pause on business growth series, but we're back, and we're back in a very, very big way. So this is me welcoming every single person to this edition of the MSME Africa Business Growth Series. I want to believe you're going to do a lot of learning here today. And of course, I'm not going to do the introduction of the speaker. By the time the speaker is introduced, you will understand that she's actually in a good place to take you through how to apply for this and win. And of course, you are going to have time to ask your questions and get further enlightened. So this is me saying thank you for joining. Stay throughout. We'll endeavor not to stay more than 18, 90 minutes on this call. And we also have this going on YouTube. So it's already being streamed on YouTube, meaning that even after the session, you can go back to YouTube, go and watch it. And then when you're applying, you're watching the video, you're applying, you're just going through the step-by-step guideline. And MSM Africa is an enterprise support organization committed to the well-being of micro, small, and medium enterprises. We'll have a community of about 7,000 MSMEs in about 8 WhatsApp groups. Apart from that, we have about 83,000 MSMEs in our database that we interact with on a regular basis. And I actually strongly believe that if you're not a member of the community, you should make a commitment to join our community today. We're going to drop the link in the chat box while the session is going on. So if you want to, we're very big on access to opportunities. That's something we are very keen about. So when it comes to entrepreneurship, a lot of things that we need to tackle: access to finance, access to infrastructure, access to a couple of things. But we are very big on access to opportunities because we believe that the information gap is something that should be closed. We have a very wide gap when it comes to information for entrepreneurs. That's why a lot of entrepreneurs, you see a few people winning grants. They go from one grant to another. They go from one accelerator to another. And it does look like it's for a selected few. No, we believe that this access to opportunity should be democratized. And we also believe that people should know how to apply for these things. What are the things that the judges are looking for? What are the pitfalls to avoid, and what have you? So let me just get out of the way so that I don't talk too much. So thank you very much once again. And I just welcome you to this insightful session because I believe it's going to be insightful. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Shea, for that warm welcome and for always providing this platform for us to grow. Now is the time to meet our speaker for this session, Chiwendu Uweke. She is the founder and the CEO of Bridge Merchant Enterprise, an agri-tech company, reducing post-harvest losses and improving farmer incomes through technology-driven supply chain solutions. Since founding Bridge Merchant in 2020, she has engaged over 1,300 youth, exported over 2,000 tons of agricultural products, and supplied more than 20,000 tons of grains. She has received multiple recognitions and funding support, including the Tony Elumelu Foundation Entrepreneurship Program grants, $15,000, $5,000 in 2022. Access Bank Womenpreneur Quartz, 7th winner. Standard Chartered Foundation Women in Tech Accelerator Quartz, 4th winner. The Youth Global Changemakers Award at the World Policy Forum in Berlin, 2023. Rural Tech Award finalist 2023, EFA Nigeria Hayut third place winner 2023, EFA International Hayut Next Gen Africa Fellow 2024, and the AgroHack National First Runner-up in 2021. Chiwendu is also a US Tech Human Fellow 2022, an Akuman Angel Awardee 2023, a participant in the Faith Foundation Skill Up Agribusiness Accelerator, SIBC in Abidjan, and a 2025 Leading Women in Food Fellow with Africa Food Change Makers. She has also secured other competitive grants supporting agribusiness innovation and youth empowerment. With a background in geology and over 8 years of agribusiness leadership, Chiwendu is passionate about building sustainable food systems, empowering farmers, and driving inclusive growth across Africa. Welcome, ma'am. Welcome, ma'am. The floor is yours, ma'am.
Hello, good evening, everybody. Can you hear me? Am I that audible?
Yes, we can hear you. Good evening, ma'am.
Okay, all right. Good evening. Thank you so much. Oh, Mr. Shea, I want to say a very big thank you for this opportunity. And every single time they read my bio, I'm always shocked. So I want to say thank you to the MSME Africa team. And today I think I have the privilege of talking to you guys about the Tony Elumelu Foundation and the grants. I had the privilege of winning mine in 2022, and I think that was like my second try. So I tried it the first time and I didn't get the grants, and I tried the second time and I got the grants. So we have three objectives on this call, and the objective is, first of all, to get ourselves familiar with what it is that the Elumelu Foundation wants to see in their grants. And then at the end of the conversation, we'll be talking about the real questions. So the reason why I made it very practical is because I don't want to come and give do's and don'ts. We're going to be looking at each of the questions and how best we can actually answer those questions. So I would dive right in and share my slide. So please give me a minute. Sorry, I was on mute. Can you see my slide, please? Can everyone see my slide?
Yes, we can.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much. So, for the purpose of this grant, it's a guide. First of all, I would say it's a guide. I'm not going to put it outrightly to say, oh, this is how, but this is what you must do to get the grant. But I would say it's a guide to getting a winning grant. As my name is Chiwenweke, and I'm going to introduce myself again, and I'm the founder and CEO of Bridge Merchant Enterprise. I've had the opportunity to apply for some grants, and I've scaled through to the end of those grants, and I will just be sharing practical experience on how to be good at passing the right message when telling a potential investor about your business. Because a lot of us would view grant writing as just talking about your business. But the truth is that on the other side, on the flip side of the conversation, is someone who has seen probably over 100 decks in a day, and then they're able to skim through to get the best out of it. So I would start with what is Tony Elumelu looking for? So as you all know, Tony Elumelu is foundation is actually looking for businesses to fund. And when we talk about businesses, we're not talking about the normal traditional businesses. For Tony Elumelu Foundation, I believe that they are firstly an impact funder. Okay, so there are different types of funders, right? There are funders that are called venture capitalists. There are funders who just want to get profit out of their business, out of businesses, right? But for the Tony Elumelu Foundation, they are very particular about businesses that show scale and businesses that show impact, right? So they are looking for, first of all, they're looking for scalable African businesses. So if you've checked the criteria, you see that, oh, you must have a business in Africa, or you must be an African, and you must be operating within the confines of the continent. So if you are looking to this category, it means you're not eligible to apply for the funding. But they're looking for scalable African businesses that are scalable. And when it means scalable, it means businesses that has the ability to transcend beyond just the founders or the location, right? So it's okay for you to have an idea. It's okay for you to have a business, right, that you're running right now. But in the next 2-3 years, how scalable is your business? What's the growth pattern like? What's the growth trajectory like? So if you talk to a regular investor about your business, right there where you're talking to them about your business, they can foresee how far your business can go. And this is aside how much you're making. Now, there are businesses that make money but are not scalable. There are businesses that are scalable and at the beginning might not be making so much money, which means that, oh, if they get the right strategy right, if they get the right funding, they will be able to scale. But the key thing is that when you have a business, you need to look at that business growing beyond you and expanding. And scale can mean different things for different people, right? Scale can be that you, as a founder, you want to grow in terms of your staff hiring. Scale can be in terms of revenue. Scale can be in terms of your location and growth of your location. It can mean different things to different founders and mean different things to different organizations that is funded. But for the Tony Elumelu Foundation, they don't just want to fund a business of buying and selling, right? So buying and selling is good, but what's innovative about your buying and selling, right? So I'll give example. There are people who would go to, let's say, bush markets. Sorry, have I been mute? Can you hear me?
Please go ahead. Please go ahead.
Okay. So
We can
it doesn't transcend you as a business person. They don't want to fund one Ekenedili Chukwu and Sons. They want to fund.
Please unmute.
Sorry. So they want to fund businesses that is able to grow and scale and impact communities that they are operating within. So the second thing is Tony Elumelu is looking for startups or companies that would create jobs in the economy, because I think they have a vision to create jobs. So if what you're doing as a founder doesn't have that in the trajectory, right, you should be able to know how many jobs you're going to be able to create in the next 2 years, in the next 3 years. You want to have ventures that can employ at scale. You might not be employing so much right now. But they want to be able to get ventures that can employ people at the scale. So right now you're employing 2 persons. If there's an influx of money into your business, how many persons would you be able to employ in the next 2 months, in the next 3 months? That's actually impact for them. And they want to fund businesses that are solving real problems. Now, the problem we have in the ecosystem is that people have an idea of what they are solving, but they don't know the magnitude of the problem that they are solving. So it's okay for you to be solving a problem, but is the problem you're solving big enough? If you check your markets, I know there's something they called total addressable markets and serviceable addressable markets. If you check your market, how large is this problem? That you have the problem or that you've seen 2 or 3 persons who are facing the problem doesn't make it problem enough for you to want to build a business around it. So they're looking at 2 things that come together, and those 2 things is impact and profitability. You can be profitable and not be having impact. You can be having impact and you're not profitable. If you're having impact and you're not profitable, best bet you're an NGO. Okay, fine. But don't come off as an impact company that is supposed to be profitable and then you're not profitable, right? So they want to fund businesses that are solving real problems. And when I mean real problems is in agriculture, real problem in logistics, real problem in water hygiene. There are real problems everywhere. So when you look at the whole ecosystem, I think problems are everywhere. But now they want you to be able to know how big that problem is. Don't form a business out of a very minute stuff. Oh, okay, because I have headache every 2 o'clock, and 2 of my friends have headache every 2 o'clock. I think this is a problem. Have you researched how many persons have headache at that exact time? How big is it for you as a person to want to put in your money to be able to get paracetamol for people who face headache around 2 o'clock? So this is how they think. So if you have a business and you're solving a problem, you need to really go back, because one of the things we do as entrepreneurs is that we start businesses from the solution, and that's totally wrong. That's totally wrong. You start businesses from the problem. When you now know the problem, you can now walk yourself down through what the solution should look like for the people who is being affected by the problem. So when you have a business, have you carefully thought about the problem you're solving? Is it really addressing the problem? That's something you have to look into. And then they're also looking for founders who can grow beyond trading small. So when I started, I told you that it's good to have a buying and selling business. But then what's the system that is going to be there as you're buying and selling? Then aside from the systems, what's the impact of your buying and selling? These are things that you need to think about. What's innovative about it? You're buying and selling bags and shoes. 1 million persons are buying and selling bags and shoes. What makes you think you're different from that the million persons buying and selling the same bag and shoe? So these are things that Tony Elumelu Foundation is looking for. They don't want to just throw out money anywhere and then give it to people who don't really have clarity about what you're doing, because clarity is key. So if you're going to be, if you have a business, are you clear about your business? Are you clear about your solution? Are you clear about your problem? Are you clear about your business model? How you intend to make money? The tractions you've made, the tractions you're going to make, right? So the next thing I would like to talk about is what your application must cover, right? So I know the Tony Elumelu Foundation has they support idea stage, and is very brilliant. But the thing about idea stage is that your idea really has to be very good, and your idea needs to be very clear for them to be able to want to fund you. Because you just cannot sleep and just wake up and be like, oh, I have an idea. You need to be clear about the idea. If you're coming to talk to somebody about your idea, I would typically say, if you have an idea, bring up an 8-year-old child and explain your idea to the 8-year-old child. If that child understands it, then communicate that idea to an investor that way. Because we also have this thing because we are in different sectors, we have this thing of trying to explain our businesses in large languages that we think our investors should know about. And the truth about it is, not all investors understand the languages of your sector. So if I'm coming to say post-harvest waste, I could literally just say food waste. And someone who has never been in the agricultural sector would understand what food waste is. But someone would have to really think about, oh, what post-harvest losses looks like. But I could literally tell you, oh, there are people in the farming system who probably farm, and at the end of the farming season, the food goes to waste. Understandable. But then when I come and now start talking about the jargons in the agricultural sector, best bet you lose people at that point. So even the tips I'm giving are tips that are actually still very good for your physical pitches. But then for physical pitches, it's a little bit heightened because you're there and you can explain. For business and grant writing, you're not there. And people don't want to waste so much time on what you're writing, right? So you need to have your business idea, the problem you solve, the problem your business is solving, who is the business affecting? And when it means affecting, it affects in 2 ways. On the flip side of it, okay, there are some businesses that literally would affect only one person. There are some businesses that affect 2-3 persons. And for example, my business, what I do in my startup affects a couple of persons. It affects the smallholder farmers. It affects the seed inputs people. It affects aggregators. It affects companies who are processing, right? So you need to know all the stakeholders in your business or in what you're doing and how it affects them and who it is affecting. And why does it really matter for you to solve that problem? Why is it important for you to solve the problem? You are in logistics and you're providing logistics for people to go to work. Why is it important for you to be providing that logistics for people to go to work? These are things you need to think about. Then your application wants to cover your market and your customers. Who is buying your products? The demand you think you have, how consistent is your demand? Because the issue is, like I said, that somebody that I have a headache by 2 o'clock every day doesn't mean there's a market for people that doesn't mean there's a market for people like me. I need to have researched and checked and know with figures and facts. Because when you are applying, don't apply with just thoughts in your head. You need figures and facts to back up what you're saying. Because people will get tilted to facts more than just to the mere fact that you have an idea. If I come to you and say that everybody on Ibadan Expressway, 40% of people who ply that road get an accident. You have an idea of 40% of people, and then you're like, okay, this is actually a really big problem. It's a serious problem. So what are you doing about it? Okay, we're providing ambulances in this section, on this road, every 200 kilometers. They are stationed there for SOS calls, so they can get people from the point of accident to the point of medical attention before you now intervene with the FRSC and every other person, right? Once you talk with fact, people understand what you're doing. But if I come and say every day people die on Ibadan Expressway, okay, number one is looking too ambiguous, because people die in Ibadan Expressway could be 80%. People die in Ibadan Expressway could be that every single person, it could be 90%, it could be 2%, it could be 1%. So you need to really know who your customers are and what your demand is like. Then your revenue model. Your revenue model talks about how you make money in the business. So like I said earlier, the Elumelu Foundation is at the intersection of two things. And the two things is impact and profit. So they are going to ask you about your profit. They are going to ask you about your expenses. They literally won't call it in the application if you've applied. If you've gotten to the place where you're supposed to fill your data, your numbers, you would see how much have you invested in the business. How much have you made in terms of revenue since you started the business? And then you see how much is your expenses. So you need to be able to know and articulate what your revenue model is. And for every other pitch you're going to be doing, when you start talking to investors physically and you start talking to investors by sending your pitch deck, they want to see how you make money. So you need, as somebody applying for grants, for the Tony Elumelu Foundation grant and for other grants, you need to know and be in tune with your revenue model. You need to have that at the back of your at the front of your palm. Because it's your business, nobody knows your business more than you. And you're the best person to sell your business. If you're not confident about your revenue model, what's the best bet that somebody else will be confident enough to give you money for your business? Right? Then you talk about traction. Now, traction is a little bit dicey. Traction can be for already existing business, can be products you sold, can be number of clients that you have. For still in the early stage, it could be your wait list. It could be that you run a social media ads and you put a form of social media page and 100% clicked and 100% signed up or 100% are on your wait list, right? That's traction. It means that if 100% have signed up, it means people definitely have a need for it. So people want to see your traction. They want to see what you've done. Oh, you've been existing for 5 years. How much have you really made? How many persons have you affected in the communities where you are? How many products have you sold? If you are a product person, how many supermarkets is your product in? If you're a service person, how many clients do you have? If you are a service person that has a subscription-based model, how many persons have paid for your subscriptions? These are tractions. And this would actually show that really it's a show that your revenue, your business model is working. Because the essence of having a business model and the essence to show that you have a working business model is that you're generating traction, revenue, profits, clients from your business model. You can't have a business model that does not bring in revenue, doesn't bring in profits, and does not bring in tractions, no clients, no partner organization, nothing. Then how are you still running a business model that does not convert? And this is where, if you are at this point as a startup founder or a business founder, you have to take a break back and look at your business model again. And then say, okay, this is not working. How can we make this work? What can we remove? What can we add? How can we do things differently to make it work? But traction is very important. And like I said, market size. How big is the problem? And your problem is big doesn't mean you're going to be addressing everybody in the problem. And that is why there's a serviceable addressable market, right? Serviceable market. That market is, okay, there are 50 million people that have this problem. You cannot target the 50 million people. But in the next 5 years, as a business, I want to target 1 million persons in the next 5 years. When you bring it down to that level, it means that you cannot make actionable steps. Because when you overblow numbers and you're not real, investors know. They know. They've been in the game so long that they know that you're bloating your numbers. The funny thing is, they also know similar businesses like you in the same sector that has been there longer than you, that have not gotten that numbers. So if you want to get that number and you're really sure it's something you can do, you really have to convince them that you can do this. And this is why you're different from every other startup in the ecosystem doing something similar. Then growth milestone. Growth milestone is trajectory of growth. How do you see yourself? What are you achieving in the next 6 months? This is where you are right now. By year 2021, we'll be here. 2027 will be here. 2028 will be here. 2029 will be here. 3 months growth trajectory is what people typically would do. And the reason why we don't encourage people to do more than 3 years, 3 years is because a lot of things can happen. If you use the PESO model, a lot of things can happen. The change in political climate can affect. So even while you're doing your growth trajectory, there's a little bit of flexibility that comes into it, right? This is where we want to be. But there's a way you watch how politics, how environment, how social economy is going to do it, how the economy is going to affect your business, how technology advancement is going to affect your business. And then you actually have to tweak a little bit, right? But then you must have laid down growth patterns for your business, for your startup. Because if you're not growing and you're stagnant, it means even as an investor, I am not getting, if I'm an impact investor, it means I'm not getting feedback from the investment I did. And if I'm a for-profit investor, investors who are about profits, they want you to 10x your revenue, it also means that I'm not making my money back next soon, right? So these are things that you must cover when you're doing an application for grants. And I am not just, when I got this call, I didn't just want to talk about it in Elumelu Foundation grants. I want to talk about it in a broader way so that at least you get a sense of what it looks like. And I will still tell you, you can write an amazing grant and get a no. So I have a personal math that I use. And the math is that in every 10 application that you get, at least you will get 1. So for every single person you see online who is getting grants here and there, best bet they've had their rejections. And you have to grow a tough skin for that. People are going to tell you no, but then you are the owner of your business, so you know what you're doing. And that they tell you no doesn't mean your business is not viable. Sometimes it might not be viable at that point, but a little bit of growth to make it viable at some point, right? So this is an encouragement to every single person. You've applied for TEF before, first time, second time, third time, and it looks like you're giving up. You should try again. You should try again, right? So a business idea, we've spoken about this before, right? What problem are you solving? You have to be clear. When I mean clear, I spoke about it. You have to be so clear about it that when you talk to somebody, the person is not dazed about what you're saying. The person literally understands what you're saying. So if you cannot explain your business to an 8-year-old child, then you cannot explain your business to an investor. You need to be able to simplify whatever you're doing, the technology, the sector jargons, every single thing. Put them in the most simplest words. So when people read it, they literally understand what you're talking about. And if they're asking you questions, they're not asking you questions as far they don't understand. They're asking you questions so that they can understand more. 2 different things. You can finish pitching to somebody and they're like, sorry, I didn't get you. Can you please start all over again? Just know you did a bad job. But when you finish pitching and you're like, okay, I get you. You said something like this. I was going to ask you a question about this with regards to what you said. Then you know that they understood what you're saying and they're just looking for more clarity. They're not just looking for clarity. Clarity is that they don't understand. more clarity that they understand, but then your pitch inspired some questions and then you're asking more questions. Who exactly has the problem? We've spoken about this before. Who are you solving this problem for? To be clear. Because there are two things. There are sometimes that you're solving a problem for some persons, but they're not the persons that you're solving it for are not the ones paying. So you need to be really clear about your problem. When I talk about you being clear about your problem, I mean you need to sit down and know exactly the problem, how it affects who it's affecting, and who is paying for it. For example, you have baby meals. You're solving problem of malnutrition for children. But people who are buying the baby meals are not the children. They are the mothers. So when you're not targeting the children. You're targeting the mothers who will buy it for their children. Clarity. Right? And the last one is, why does it matter? The impact of your problem. Why are you solving it? Okay, you're solving problem for malnutrition. Why are you solving problem for malnutrition? Because you're trying to reduce infant deaths. You're trying to reduce malnourishment. Because you're trying to solve SDG goal 1, 2, and other stuffs. But when it comes to your business idea, you have to be clear and simple. You have to make it so simple that you understand. You're not confusing yourself. You're not confusing who is reading. Because if they read the first 2 lines and they don't understand, even if you have the most amazing things at the back, best bet you're going to skip it. So when you're typing the first things and you're trying to start a Elumelu Foundation grants, first thing you're supposed to look at is simplicity and clarity. They want you to be innovative. They don't want you to just do normal, regular things, but they want you to be clear. They want to know that you're the founder, you understand what you're doing. Because you need to also understand that as much as they're investing in your business, they're also investing in your team. And if you're filling the grant application as the team, you don't understand what you're feeling, or you're feeling it in a way that you cannot clearly communicate it, then why would an investor want to give you $5,000? I hope I'm communicating, right? So part of the team step Elumelu Foundation wants to see that step. Who will buy your products, right? You're supposed to identify your customers, who pays for your product and service. Remember I said that, who is paying? Who is paying? You need to know who is paying for your products. Then how often are they paying for your products? Weekly, monthly, seasonally? You need to be clear about these things. And why would they keep buying your product? Are you the only one in the market? What's differentiating you from others? Why would they keep buying your products, right? The value you're bringing to your customers. So you have to be able to describe this in the simplest terms that they can understand when you're filling your application. Okay. Trying to move my slide. Oh, sorry. Yes. So we also spoke about revenue, how money enters your business. Is it by sales, subscription, service fee, commissions? How often is your revenue generated? Is it one time? Is it recurring? Do your customers have to pay once in a year? Do they have to pay once quarterly? Do they buy monthly? How repeatedly is payments being done with respect to the products or services that you offer? And then who pays? End users, organizations? Are you looking to partner with government? Are you saying, oh, I run an NGO and this thing actually cost me 500 naira to make, but government organizations would actually pay me the 500 naira, and then I can give it to students for free. I can give it to babies for free. You need to know clarity. You need to know your revenue model that much, right? Then attractions. How many sales have you generated? If you're at the early stage, have you done the pilot testing? How many early users do you have? If you've not done, have you done some form of data? Because you cannot just come and say, oh, everything is in my head. Don't worry, once I just launch this thing like this, 1,000 people will sign up. People will shock you in this era. You can have an amazing idea and it's amazing to you. And then it's not amazing to people who you think is going to be amazing to. And then when you roll it out, you're not getting the feedback that you want. And that's why I want to tell you, when you're building, you do a minimum viable product. I recently just learned of a minimum testable product, because you can have a minimum viable product that you built, but you've not tested it. So you need to be able to see all these things as attractions. And traction could also mean social media demand, like I said. When we started, we had not launched our application and we wanted to know if agents were willing to sign up. And then I think it was during the Agora competition, because we had some mentorship and mentoring, and our mentor was like, okay, let's see how it's going to look like. And for 3 days, we ran an ad on social media. We just went to our social media page and we just did one flyer and then put an ad and put a link there. And the kind of tractions we got. So even when we're talking to them that, oh, we didn't have any app yet, but then in 3 days, we had over 500 persons that actually clicked to sign up as an agent with us. Traction. Right? So for people, businesses that are already existing businesses, traction could mean 1,000,001 things. Could be sales, could be the number of products you've rolled out. So maybe today you have bean flour, then you've rolled out like 7 other products since it started in 2023, and you started with one product, which was bean flour, but now you have 7 products. That's traction. When you started in 2021, you sold only 15 pieces, but now you've sold collectively 2,000 units. But you started initially, you were just in one supermarket, but now all the gender supermarket in Lagos knows you, or you're in Spa, and Spa alone buys up to like, let's say, 3,000 units in 2 months. Those are tractions. So you need to know the traction that you've done, or the possible traction that could come from what you're doing. You've not launched, you're still in idea stage, but you have done something to show that in the first 3 months, you're looking to hit so and so numbers. You need to be able to know your traction, your growth trajectory from when you started to where you are now. You worked with three farmers before in 2023, but now you worked with 100. That's traction. You started with 1 staff, but now you've been able to employ 10 staff. That's traction, right? So you need to actually know what traction means to your business, and then be able to articulate it and say it, right? Like I said, your farmers trained, proof of adoption, the impact you've made as a business or as a startup. And for what is worth, right, before we go into this, I know a lot of us are scared and they're like, oh, my business is not yet perfect. I don't think there's any business that is perfect. I tell you, as a business founder, you would always bump into problems. And your position is to strategically think of how you're going to come out of those problems and how you're going to grow from those problems. So if you're doubting it and you're like, oh, maybe I think my business is not yet there because we are not so yet stable, and know that you want to be perfect, you want to have the perfect office space, you want to have up to like 50 staff before you apply for a Tony Normally Foundation grant. You'll be shocked that sometimes when you grow that much and you apply for grants like that, you're still not eligible because they feel like you're too big for such grants. So they're not looking to fund a very perfect business. They're looking to fund a clear business, a business idea that is sustainable. Sustainable. When I mean sustainable, I mean sustainable. Because when people talk about sustainability in business, it means that the business can sustain itself. And even if it cannot sustain itself now, it has a plan towards sustaining itself. Because you might not be profitable now, but there's an influx of money or fund that you get, and then you will balance and be profitable, and then you break even. It's totally fine. The truth is, you might not be at that point now, but when you speak to an investor, he knows that you're going to be sustainable in 2 years. It's something that is sustainable because it looks like, oh, you might not be making so much profit. Maybe your profit is like 2%, 1%, but it knows with time you're going to grow to 10%. You just need to change 1 or 2 things here, right? So let's dive into the real questions. So I brought out some of the questions from the application and I wanted to talk about it. Now, The first thing on the application is after you filled your documentation, your name, your address, you uploaded your ID, maybe your international passport, your NIN, then I think you get to upload your documents, your CSC documents. So I know some persons might be having issues with that, but if you're uploading your CSC documents in PDF, I think you might be having issues with that, right? Maybe you've tried uploading and it was not going through. Convert to JPEG, convert them to JPEG, and then upload it to go. I'm saying this because I encountered something like that, and for days I kept on feeling like, oh, why was my application not going through? Sorry, why was my application not going through? And then I found out that it was because it was in PDF or PowerPoint presentation, and then I had to convert to JPEG. So if you're having that issue, I hope this solves that for you. So the first question is your entrepreneurial story. So there is a section about your entrepreneurial story, and that section is talking basically about you. It's talking about you. It's talking about yourself. So who are you? The first one is going to write about your personal bio. Who are you? Your entrepreneurial journey. What has shaped you? And then why are you the best person to solve this problem you think you want to solve? Right? And they're not giving you a lot of time, a lot of space to say a lot of things. They don't want you to write a million things. You have to bring it and simplify it, or make it strong enough for just 150 words. You have to learn the right words to use to express who you are. And like I said, people invest in two things: your business model and the team. They want to see the person behind the application. And talking about who you are, we'll tell them who you are. So if you don't sell yourself right here, there's a high chance in 50 years your business is good, but are you sure this person is good enough to be able to carry this out? Then the second thing they're talking about is your leadership. Talking about your leadership skills. And you have 100 words to explain how you've been leading your team, how you intend to lead your team, how you intend to drive results in your team, your leadership skill. What skill do you have as a leader, right? Then the third question is your core problem. And this is what we're talking about since we started. The problem you're solving, who does it affect? Why does it matter to solve that problem? And the things that are unique to your solutions, right? The problem itself. I think there was even a point, let me check. Okay. There's a problem, there's a part in the application that spoke about, that said, wow me. Wow us. I don't know if anybody has seen that. There's a part in the application that says wow us. They don't want you to go and give them ambiguous things. They say wow us, you said you now want to wow them. No, that's not how it is. When they're talking about wow us, they want to see what's different about what you do. What's really different about what you do. They want you to be able to express what you believe is different about what you do. So everybody is doing catfish farming. So what's really interesting about catfish farming? You need to be able to give them, I would put it in a way as your value proposition or your unique selling point. So if they say wow me, you now say, okay, you want to wow them. You just go there and you're just writing things that are off. He has a way of taking them off balance. And that's if they even get through that particular question. So you're also going to talk about your addressable market. How big is your market? The market for your products, who are your potential customers? And they're just giving you so that's why I told you that you have to look for a way to simplify your answers. Simplify your answers. If you cannot tell me who your addressable market is in 50 words, then you don't really know the business as much as you think you do. It's just 50 words. If you put it in your normal your Word document, go to your laptop, put Word document and type 50 words, it's not so much. If they give you time, you write like 200 words because you want to explain. They want a detailed but yet concise answer. I want to be able to look at it at a glance and know who your addressable market is. Then your revenue model, how you make money, how you intend to make money, how often are you looking to make money, right? Then your marketing strategy. So how do you intend to get your customers? How do you intend, because, okay, I think, okay, this is for another session, not for this session. But let's keep marketing strategy. So for some persons, I want to cover your customers. We mean, okay, if you have an application, do you intend to run social media ads? Do you intend to use micro influencers? Do you intend to have a physical store, radio jingles, cooperative societies, government parastatals? Are you looking to partner with some kind of organizations? How do you intend to get to the people that really need your product? Or how do you intend to get to the people that would really buy your product? There are two things. There are people who need it. There are also people who need it and will buy it. There are people who need it, and there are different people who will buy it. You could have an aged mother, and she's aged and she's diabetic. She needs to have products or food that would help her. But then it might be her child buying it for her. It might be that you have to go through the Diabetic Association of Nigeria, something in the pharmaceuticals to get it to them. So they want to know that you're clear about your go-to-market strategy. How do you intend to go to market? That's what that number 6 question is talking about. And you have to make it concise and brief. Make it concise and brief as possible, right? 50 words. Then your competitors. If you were a first mover, I'm happy for you. You can probably say, oh, there's nobody doing this thing in the markets, right? I mean, I don't know if they know there are people who are like that and like, oh, I don't think there's, it might be that there are people doing it outside of the country, but there's nobody doing it in Nigeria. You're a first mover. And you can expect to them that, oh, when you're doing, be very careful that you've done your researches well. Because even when we don't have formal competitors as a first mover, you can have informal competitors as your competitors. It might not be any legal structured company doing what you're doing, but there are people who are locally doing it. For example, I'll give example. There are people who, there are companies or startups now that do cloth reusable parts. Superb, amazing ideas. And before we got to that stage of getting comfortable to using this, if you check through in Nigeria, I don't think there was anybody doing reusable parts with clothes. But then they can come out and say, oh, I'm a first user. We are the first mover. There's nobody doing it in Nigeria. They don't have a formal competitors, but then they have people who are using clothes for sanitary. And those people exist, right? So you have to be really careful about your competitors and benchmark organizations when you're filling your application. Make sure you research enough. Put the people you feel like your competitors, even if they're not doing every single thing you're doing. You're giving access to, maybe because I'm in agricultural space and I'm using a lot of agricultural examples, so please forgive me. So maybe I have a company and my company gives finance and input, right? And then maybe there's no other company giving finance and input, but there are companies giving finance, and there are also companies giving inputs. They are also part of my competitors. That they're not doing it together doesn't make them not a competitor, because part of my business model, they are doing one of my business model, right? So you have to be careful about your competitors. Research well to know who your competitors are, and then list the 3 of them. Then your differentiates, what makes your different, so what makes your business different from the existing competitors? Your current milestones. When I talk about milestones, I'm talking about tractions. What have you done? What have you achieved? How have you grown? And no matter how little it is, please put it. You might think those little, we're just 3 staffs. they have 3 staff, and you look at, oh, it's looking somehow. Please put it. There's no useless traction. Let me put it that way. There is no traction that is utterly useless, no matter how small it is. It shows that there is a semblance of growth in what you're doing. And that is what milestones communicate. Other times, they might now look at your milestones and say, okay, they want to take it a little bit further. How fast is your milestone? But that's the second conversation after when you've given them the milestone. And then you can, if you say, okay, if they don't ask you how fast is your milestone, and this is for when you're pitching, right? They ask you how fast is your milestones. You can tell them, oh, this is the constraint you have, and that is why you've been able to do this. But if you have access to this, you're going to do this, this, and this. Because there's nobody that sells your business more than you. Nobody can sell your business more than you. And I tell people, so my team, my team is kind of very balanced. And sometimes when I feel a little bit down and I'm like, oh no, I'm not doing this thing again, one of my team members will tell me, what do you have to lose? Because if you check it, you applied, they didn't pick you first time, they didn't pick you second time. What do you have to lose? You don't have to lose, you don't have anything to lose, but you have everything to gain if they pick you. And I'm like, oh, and that shifted my mindset a lot. Because it's actually very draining to apply for these things. But then, what do you have to lose after applying? Probably your time. Not so long time, right? But then what if they pick you? Then you get the money. Then you can invest it in your business, right? So let's talk about the next one. Your next milestone. So the current milestone is what you've done now. Your next milestone is what you're going to do. What you're going to do. So they want to see that you have clarity of vision. We are selling, we are able to produce every month, let's say 500 packs of cashew nuts or 500 packs of, I wish somebody would give me another example. I'm saying it directly. 500 packs of biscuits, right? But we want to be able to increase our production capacity from 500 packs to 1,500. They see the growth and they know how it's this milestone, next milestone, somehow wants to make me believe that they are looking for a way to know how you will use the funds. It's almost similar to your use of funds. So they are not spelling it out and saying, what will you do with the money? But they're asking you, what are your next milestones? What are you going to do with the money? So your next milestone as a business, what do you want to achieve next? So now when they're giving you the money, they know that, okay, this money I'm giving to this person will help him move his production from 500 packs to 1,500 packs. That's the idea of the use of funds. And how did they disguise it? Next milestones. So you need to have clarity about these things. So let's talk about mistakes that kills application. Copying business ideas from internet. So I'll give an example. I did a program last year, names withheld, because I can't say the name. This is going to be on YouTube. So and after we're done, because it was a really amazing program, the program was really a business advisory. And we're talking to people who did the application. And one of them said, most of the application that they got were ChatGPT applications. These people don't have Jack. Because you think the people would not know. Now, AI is not bad. I need you to understand that AI is an enabler. And it will feed on the information that you give it. If you type something and you say in your AI, maybe you have a business and you say, give me a business template for soap. Because it's an open source, what's the guarantee that somebody else in Taraba that puts, give me a business idea for soap, is not getting the exact thing that you're getting? And then the both of you are uploading the same thing. So you need to know that sometimes copying ideas don't work. Somebody made a mistake. In short, not even one. And they were telling me, and I was shocked. And the person made a mistake and copied the prompt on ChatGPT, copied the answer on ChatGPT, and submitted. You have to be thorough. Don't be in a haste. The person copied to the point of, would you like me to create another one with so and so, and pasted it in the application. So you have to be thorough. Don't copy business ideas from the internet. You have to, because AI is garbage in, garbage out. You have to bring in a semblance. It should be that you're typing something and then it's helping you refine it. Don't outrightly allow it to do it well, because one of the errors of AI is that it has the ability to hallucinate. And if you're not thorough, it will hallucinate on your behalf. It will think and go to India. That's that's one thing AI does. So if you allow it to free range and free think for you, it will hallucinate on your behalf. And that hallucination would not reflect your business or what you're trying to communicate to the person or the investor or the people going through the application on the other end. And it also has the ability to overhype things. Because you just type prompt, and sometimes some of us that use AI a lot, we have trained our AI. But even when you train your AI, you still have to check because they still hallucination. The places that you put 1,000, you would not put 1,000. So I'll give an example. I was trying, someone asked me to send a bio of myself, and I think it was like a few days ago. So I had a bio, but then I was looking to update it. So I wrote a few things, and I was like, okay, you should help me draft, like reconstruct the sentences. And he told me I have a background in geology, and then I have a background in banking and finance. And I was like, when on earth did I tell this thing I was into banking and finance? So you need to be very thorough when you're using AI. It's an enabler. I'm not of the opinion that, oh, don't you have to bring everything from it. You would give it what it should work on, and then it will reconstruct it back to you. But for you to depend totally on an open source is you shooting yourself in the leg, because 1,000,001 person is using the same open source, and all of you will submit the same thing. And that's zero. The second thing is be real. TEF funds idea stage. If they can fund idea stage, they will fund your business with 3 staff. Idea stage that they've not started, and TEF is willing to give them 5K USD. So you need to be real when you're doing your applications. Don't lie about your address. Don't tell them you have 2 offices when you're working from home. Because it will be so bad when you get in and they now want to do address verification, and then you're running up and down helter skelter. Another mistake people make is they don't talk with facts and numbers, like I said. You need to be able to articulate your problem. Don't say Nigeria has a big problem of flooding. How many times does it flood? How frequent does it flood? How clogged is the drainage? You're in the recycling world, and you're recycling. How many tons of waste? The statistics are online. It will just take you a little bit more of researching, and you get the right statistics to use for your application. The fourth one is writing long and confusing answers. Steph will not even give you the time to write long and confusing answers, because once you get to 50 words, you can't add anything again. And that's why I spoke about clarity. You have to be clear about what you are doing and be able to communicate it in the simplest but yet concise way, detailed way. And then the fifth one is not showing how your funding will be used. You might remember I spoke about the next milestones. Just have it in your head. Now that next milestone is they want to know how you're going to use their money. They want to know how the money will translate to growth for your startup. And it's a very, very key, important part of the application. Because normally what people say is, you can tell me you use your funds, And when they tell you, when they tell you to write the use of funds, you now say, okay, I'll use 20% for this, I'll use 20% for that. But TEF is not giving you that long time to do that. They want to see your growth trajectory in 50 words. And you have to be able to show them and tell them in clear terms how you intend to grow and scale with their money. And that's what the next milestone is about. So how to make your application stand out. So we're talking about things you're going to do. Show impact. Is the business you're doing, how many jobs is it going to create? How many women is it going to affect? How many youth is it going to empower? The community you're in, how is it benefiting the community? How is it benefiting the ecosystem? All these things must find a way into your application. Because I started with saying TEF is an impact plus profit fund. If you're profitable and you're not impacting, maybe some people will get it. But they want to see impacts. They want to see a business that is interwoven with impact and profitability. So you have to show your impact. You have to show how big your business can impact the community, the society, and the economy. They want to see the mind of the founder. You know, every single thing. I tell people that we have an issue in the ecosystem, and the issue in the ecosystem is that most people think that money is the first thing to get when you want to start a business. I know it's okay if you guys don't agree with me, but I tell people the first thing to get is the right team. You can build an amazing business with the right team, and once you get the right team in check, automatically you will get funding, because investors fund people first before your idea. I have a friend who is building an amazing company. He has not gotten any money, any funding. He only has a team. But if I tell you where this guy has gotten to with just the right team, if he gets the least $5,000, he will hit milestones. So what I'm trying to say is that you have to show impact. They want to see the mind of the founders and then the impact your business is going to do or make in your society, in your economy, in your sector. Because they're not expecting you to solve all the problem. Your sector is big, but they want to be that, okay, there's a niche in your sector that you're solving, and how innovative is your solution in that niche. Probably there are people doing the same thing that you're doing. So how are you going to do it differently? If there are people who have done it and then they failed, why do you think you're different? Why do you think you won't fail? So your application has to really stand out in impact. Then show growth potentials. I told you, we said that before. Your ability to scale your operations, your revenue, it has to be in your application. You have to be clear and simple. Confidence is for when you're pitching physically, because you don't go to pitch and you're like, my name is Chemindemeke. I just want to talk about my business. And people are looking at you and they're like, wait, hold up. Is this really your business? So if you're pitching physically, there is a oath of confidence that it's your business. I know there's a whole lot of tension that comes with when you're pitching, but I need to understand there's nobody on that panel that knows your business more than you. And you communicate your business to them. You're the right person and the best person to communicate it. You're the one that you're the person that knows your operation, you know your revenue, you know your challenges, you know your risk, you know every single thing that's happened in your business. The problem with people pitching is that they don't anticipate questions. You need to anticipate questions. Sit down and talk to yourself and ask yourself, okay, if I finish pitching on this slide, what's the possible question they can ask me? Sit down and think about it. If you were sitting on the other side of the table, what would you ask the person pitching this business to you? Then ask yourself those questions and confidently get an answer for it. When you go and ask those questions, you will ace it. So you have to have a clear and simple way to pass your message. Like I said, you have a good idea doesn't mean you need to use complex languages. You don't need those complex languages. Break it, simplify it, make it very easy to understand, right? Then, sorry, I think that's the last slide. Then, be honest about your progress. Use real data, even if it's small. Use real data. Just use real data. Don't try to hype it, so that you know if you're talking to your investor, so you don't overpromise. And the investor that would invest will invest. And people want to really know where you are, so they know how to help and how to assist you. If you overblow your numbers and you overpromise, you put yourself under pressure, even when you're talking to real investors. You put yourself under a lot of pressure because now you have to work the work that is not necessary. It doesn't get better from there. You tell them that this is where you are and that you can utilize this, and then they give you the money and you don't have the capacity to push it. It's going to be a lot. So I've come to the end of my conversation about the TEF application, and I'm open to your questions. Thank you very much for having me. You can follow me on LinkedIn, Instagram, and on Facebook. So I'm open to questions and I'm here to answering them. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Wow, that was very, very, very beautiful. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We have a couple of questions. I'll just go right into it, straight into it. Our first question says, okay, my business is still at the idea stage, but it is built on deep research, a clearly defined problem, and a sizable market opportunity. For applicants without registration or traction yet, what does Steph look out for, and how can we straighten our applications?
Well, thank you so much. So like I said, Steph will fund your idea. You just need to show them how good that idea is, how impactful, how important the idea is. Having an idea is not just enough, right? There's a saying that ideas are worth a penny. The same idea you have in your head, best bet 1,000 people have that same idea. The execution is the difference. Who is going to execute first and how would they execute it? So you need to have, I've seen people in idea stages raise pre-seed in millions. They don't have one customer. They don't have one customer. They've not built an app. They are in idea stage. Probably they don't have a web page or something. And then they've not gotten any customer, no traction, no revenue. But they are able to convince their investors that this is a worthy investment. So if you have gotten enough research about what you're doing and it's a good market, you need to see. So because this is not a one-on-one consultation, right? On a norm, maybe Mr. Sheye is good with things like this. You need to sit down and articulate your ideas. Sometimes when we have ideas and it's all in your head, you think it's superb. Write it down. It's a problem, articulate it. Bring it down. Problem, write it. Solution, write it. Business model, write it. Market size, write it. Draft it out, then read it. If it makes sense to you, carry it, give to 3 other persons, and get criticism about it. So there's this thing that people do. Sorry, let me drink water. They say, no, I don't want to tell you my idea, they will steal it. I don't tell you my idea, they'll steal it. Ideas are worth a penny. It's a full ecosystem. It's a full ecosystem. The only difference is how you execute it. I'm not saying go around and start telling every single person about your ideas. You need to be careful of who you're telling your idea. And because some people kill their idea. I'm like, oh no, they're very pessimistic and they just shut it down. So you need to be careful you're telling your idea, but you need to pass those ideas through people. to know that you're not hallucinating like AI, right? Then if it's clear and it's good, they just want you to know that the idea you have is an impactful one and then is a profitable one. Meaning you have a clear problem, you have a clear solution, you have a clear pipeline of growth trajectory, how it's going to grow, who is going to impact. Then how much you need to start for the smallest.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much for answering it so well. Thank you. We have another question here from Hope Enzo. If I want to be trained and be a part of the foundation and not the loan, how do I apply?
You want to be trained as how? I don't think I'm not clear that question. Like you want Tony Elumelu to foundation to train you, but you don't want to get the grant. Am I clear?
I'm
He
not
wants
sure you're
to,
meant to answer that question. I mean, only
Because I don't
Chinyere
know.
Foundation can answer the question. So you can just keep.
okay. Does the TEF apply to businesses that are already in the execution stage, or does it apply to businesses in the idea stage as well?
Okay. So the TEF program funds idea stage, early
Okay.
stage startup, and growth stage startup. So if you have an idea, you're going to be funded. If you are in the early stages, that means you've executed something, but you're not big. You're still growing. You're still at that early stage. Probably 2 years, 3 years, 6 months. They will fund you. If your
Okay.
business is in a growth stage, you've grown, you have traction that they can see, impact that they can see. But then you're not a unicorn company. They'll fund you because you cannot be having revenue of $1 million and you're looking for 5K grants. You're no longer in the growth stage, right? So there are things that they will consider. They want to be able to give the money to businesses that need it, not businesses that can get it. Because businesses who need it are businesses that it will actually be instrumental to them. They are going to put into their business and it will translate to growth. Big businesses probably will use this for administration and every single thing, or just use for operational costs. So they want to they fund the idea so if you're already executing.
Okay, this one is going to be a long read. I have a question regarding the investor's preference for innovative business ideas. Prior to this session, I wasn't aware that investors typically do not want businesses that are primarily buying and selling. My business idea, handmade home fragrance products, is something I have been passionate about for a long time. I have already invested significantly in it, although I have not launched yet. Given that my idea may not seem highly innovative in quotes in traditional sense, do you think this is the type of business that investors would consider funding? I have already started my application process and would greatly appreciate your guidance.
Oh, so you also need to understand that I've seen the most craziest ideas win grants. The problem is, how are you telling your story? You need to get the story about your business right. I also know somebody that does something similar to this. And last year, I think she won was it 2 million or 3 million naira she won last year, September, October, thereabouts. She's doing something similar to you. You can decide to tag your business as a regular business. And that's work for you. That will work for you. You can also decide to tell your business. You need to. There's an art of storytelling when it comes to business. right? You need to get the right business, the right story around what you do. And there are innovators, there are investors that are looking to invest in manufacturing businesses. You're manufacturing. You might be small scale right now, or you're manufacturing. I know somebody who does scented candles that got into the next item. Scented candles. Something similar to what you do. The problem is, how are you selling your business? How are you positioning your business? If you get positioning and storytelling right, I don't think there's any grant you won't get, or any investor that would not want to invest. Because it's you that will decide how to position your business for impact and position your business for profit. If you, on your own, decide to put it as just profit, it's for you. You're the owner of the business. You will steer your business the way you want it to. But I would advise every business owner to have the right story around your business. That's what sells. So when you stand and you say you're doing home fragrance stuff, okay, do you know that the home fragrance stuff has effect on health? Cleaner air. These are things that you have to find your way and put. You're doing home fragrance stuff, you're employing people. Decent work and economic growth, SDG 8. How are you telling your story? That's the problem. You get your story right and you get investors. If you get your financial rights and you get your story right, investors will put in money into it. So I don't think it's a bad business. I just feel like you need to get the story right and position your business right, and you'll be good.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. There are some hands raised up, so I'll just take questions from them. Ibrahim bin Umar, please go ahead and ask a question if you can hear me. Ibrahim bin Umar Hassanat, please go ahead and ask a question. Okay, I think Joshua Ba, if you can hear me, please go ahead and ask your question.
Thank you. I can hear you loud and clear. Thank you very much.
Hello? Hello?
Please go ahead and ask your question.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Yes, I can.
All right, all right. Like when I want to invest in, I want to establish a company where there's going to be a production of what the type of agricultural product I dealt with, like something like oranges. I want to go into juice, orange juice. And then we used to have some problem of a vehicle delay. So the advantage of the delay, being a perishable nature, used to give us a setback, such that when any delay happens, it will lead to total loss of whole truck loaded. So I was like, can they fund me to have a thermocol van to start my small business? I know I have competitors in the market right there, having sort of juice, but I've not seen people that are into pure juice of orange. So, and I want to go straight onto it. But the challenges we have is this preservation processes, like refrigerator or thermocol or cold room for storage before the production. Yeah, I want to have a van. I want to invest I'm into orange. So I want to make it a company. I have my company registered as a trader and supplier of orange in higher production. And then we used to have challenges of transporting the goods to where we are taking it to. Any little delay will run lost of the whole truck loaded of the crops, which is oranges. So due to the perishable nature, I decided to go in for thermocol van. Are you
Yeah,
hearing?
I think let's
So,
answer the
yeah.
question. I'm sure
So
she already get what the
how
question
is
is.
that going to be accepted? And
Okay.
the
Please let
question
her
further.
answer the question now.
Okay. All right. So thank you very much. Yeah. So your business is viable, right? Your
Yeah,
business is
yeah,
viable for funding.
yeah, yeah.
Your business is very viable for funding.
Okay.
It's something that if you apply right, you should be able to get grants for it. And like I said, your next milestone is where you're telling them what you're doing with the money. So you're currently at this, when it, not, you have two questions. You have current milestones and next milestone. Current milestone is where you are right now. Current
Okay.
milestone should be, oh, you want to get you're going to be getting a cooling van that will now translate to so and so production of your orange juice and all that, right?
Okay.
So
Yeah.
it's a viable business and you can apply for the Tony Elumelu Foundation. It's a good one because you're in the agricultural space and you're helping with reduction of post-harvest waste. So I feel like any impact investor that looks at your business, so far you're profitable, want to invest because they know that you are in a very key sector. Agriculture is a key sector, and most of the times applications in agriculture, and there are other grants that you can actually get aside from Elumelu Foundation grants, right?
Mhm.
So you can
Yeah.
look into that. But for Elumelu Foundation grants, you can apply, and I think you're viable. So I would take some questions. I saw some questions on the chat from Sulaimon Bolowatife. He said, why is it that you receive an instant email of rejection immediately you are submitted for the Elumelu Foundation application? So that the thing is, there are two sides of the application. The first side of the application is where you're talking about all these things you're talking about. The second side of the application is the business acumen, the examination that you're going to take. Typically, I think it is 75 to 80% that gets you in. So when you write the test, if you pass, you get an email with your code, and then they tell you to wait. Your application will be reviewed by a third-party consultant and all that. If you get an instant rejection, it means you did not pass the test. So I think last year they would direct you to a business growth session that you need to take, a bit just normal training and all that. So the instant email of rejection is to show that you actually did not pass the test, and the test is actually key to them reviewing your application. So that's a way for them to streamline and sieve how many applications get to the next round for review. So another question here is, my business is registered as a business name and it's been 5 years in March 2026. Can I still business name? You're registered. I got my grant with a business name. I got my Tony Elumelu Foundation grant with a business name. So the issue is you've not registered at all. But if you have registered, you now have a CAC certificate that you can upload, right? And it's totally fine. So even if it's going to be 10 years this year, so far you're registered with CAC, that is the only criteria. They didn't add how many years, they just added the criteria to you being the registered business, growth stage, early stage, and all that, and it's totally fine. So let me check for another question. I think I think this is aside conversation, Agnes. So maybe you could reach out to me on LinkedIn, on Instagram, and then I'll take it. They say, hello, if your business is already in existence for over 5 years, but now you want to launch a new idea or services, can you push that out? Can you push out that that particular new idea with your current company? It's left to you to decide. But now the idea is you have a business this thing. The truth about it is if you have a business registered and it's 5 years and you have a new idea, it means your new idea would not have traction, but then you're using a CAC certificate that is 5 years. Very contradictory. It's better you register as a business idea than trying to make it look like a new idea. Just my opinion, right? It could be otherwise. It could be otherwise, but that's just my opinion. Yeah. So I think am I still allowed to take more questions?
Yes.
Please tell me, let me know.
Yes, you can take like 2 more questions from the chat
Okay.
box, and then we
Okay.
allow the people that have raised their hands to speak. But we'll have to
All
run
right.
now. We are running short on time. So
Okay. All right. So, let me look for.
maybe I should read it
Okay.
out to
Someone said my
you.
business is over
Can I
7
read out the
years,
questions
but
in the
no.
chat box?
Okay. Yes, you can read out anything.
Somebody says, for a business that has multiple users with up to 5 target users, do you need to streamline their target audience to 1 or 2? Or it's good to talk about all intended user or target? Is the question clear?
Yeah, I think the question is clear. So, for me, I believe you need to look up for who your key stakeholders are. Key stakeholders. You could have multiple stakeholders, but then which of them is very important? You could have 5, but then you have 2 very key stakeholders. So if you can streamline it, so it doesn't get so ambiguous, and they're not looking at it now looks like as if you're doing a lot of things at once. Because I also had that problem too. When I had to tell them that, oh, we service farmers, we service this, we service that. Most of the time, they just bring it down. Who are the people, the main people that you're actually dealing with, right? So you can have multiple stakeholders, but then you have very key stakeholder. So if you can streamline that 5 to 2 or 3, it's better. Then when
Okay.
you get to the point where, because if you scale through this stage, you now get to a point where you're supposed to upload a video, a pitch. Your pitch would now give you time to explain better. But for the sake of the application, can you just try to streamline it to 3 and then see how it works?
Okay, the next one is saying, can your business plan be bigger than the actual amount the foundation is offering?
I don't think personally, I don't think it's wise. Because you're trying to tell them that their money in the grand scheme of things won't do a lot of things for you. They don't want to know how much you will do, how much you need the big one. They want to know how much their money is going to translate to growth for you. So when you're going to be dropping a plan, drop a plan of $5,000. When you're talking about investors that have plenty money, you can now bring out the big plan and say, okay, I need 300K USD. If you give me 300K USD, I will go to the 36 states in Nigeria. But Tech wants to know what you do with 5,000. Please keep it at 5K.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for that. So I also believe
So
that
they don't
every
think that their money cannot solve your problem.
so every founder wants to feel that whatever they are giving you is doing something good for your business. So if I'm giving you 5,000, but you're saying your problem is 20,000, I'm already thinking that might not make so much difference. Let me give to the people who actually value it some more. I think our speaker has been he dropped off network issues, I guess. So while we wait for her to join back, let me see if I can attend to 1 or 2 questions. Can a fashion designer get funded? We make unisex bespoke clothes. Yeah, it's not really about whether you're a fashion designer or not. It's the fact that you are solving a real problem. And like she actually also said, it doesn't depend on how well you tell your story. If you're a fashion designer and you use maybe recyclable materials, if you tell that story, you are saving the environment. That will attract more attention, right? So it depends on how you tell your story. Our speaker is back. So maybe we just take one from the chat box, right? And then we can allow the others to maybe we'll take 1 or 2 questions from the I'm trying to make you a speaker. Window. Right. Okay, so trying to enable, I think you so um person says in case we have anyone that okay, no. Please do you have tips on how to ace the business acumen test?
I don't have tips, so I don't have
Okay, no
tips.
tips.
I feel like
No
I feel
tips.
like
All
okay,
right. So
so I went okay, so I went through the questions. I went through the questions. But I would say they are trying to check how good, normal basic business ideas or business, the basic about businesses, right? They will ask you about your finances, about finances, financial statements, internal document, external document, something around that, right? They just want to know how good or how your knowledge of basic business. And I think it's not that, it's just 20 questions. You should be able to ace it. All of you are smart.
Okay, so Joshua Ba, your hand has been raised for a long time. So please go ahead, Joshua. Make it brief and quick. Joshua, please go ahead with your question.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Inwe, for that insightful session. My question is in twofold. One is how to really leverage AI to help us in this application. And the second one, for a business whose current operations is actually, let's say, offline on the ground with farmers, but the big aim is actually to make farming aggregation online, but that is not fully in place yet. How do you tailor your application? Are you in the ideation stage with that idea, or you can use the back of this operation business to accelerate your online one? Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Joshua. So I've tried to get the question right. So you have an offline operation, but then you want to move it online. You already have traction, you already have a business. Moving it online means that you're going to be scaling. So the technology you're bringing in is for scale. You've tried a working model, you have a working model that works. Like I would always say, technology is an enabler as well. If you have technology without a working model, you just have an app that nobody's going to use. So, like I said, is how you bring the two of them together in your application. You already have traction, you've already tried, you've worked with aggregators, you work with farmers, you have traction and all that. Your next milestone could be that you want to digitalize and have an app. And your app will translate for you to move from 300 farmers to 1,000 farmers in the next 6 months, right? And that's how it is when you're tailoring your application. It's good to tell them where you are, but then your online business should be a growth metric for you. Because we also started the same way. And when we even won AgroHack, we didn't have an app. We just had a website. But when we talk about our business, we were able to tell them that this app is going to do this. And this is what it's going to translate to for us as a business. So you need to be able to get that trajectory when you're trying to tell the story about your business, and you'll be fine.
Okay, so the next person is Ras Bobo, I guess. Please go ahead.
All right. Can you hear me? Thank you very much. Good evening. Thank you so much. For the very insightful class. So I wanted to ask now, how do you apply for someone that doesn't even know about Tony Elumelu Foundation? So do we go to the website, or is there a link you are going to share to us to be sure that you are clicking on the right link to take you to the right site? So that's one. And secondly, when the speaker was speaking, I already knew where I was going to have issues with all those investors is in that part of a location now. So now, when you are registering your business, you just have to put a location there. Else you may not even get, especially if it's LTD, you may not get your account sorted out, in the bank. So you have to look for a location. So yes, you just got a location by faith, but you are working from home. So how do you scale through that part when you start dealing with investors in that regard? So first, the link to the exact site to start the application. Secondly, on this issue. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Raz. So the first thing first, the link is in the chat. I think Judge Igwe, I've been trying this, it's not connecting. Okay, so hold on. Let me try to get the link. I'll share the link in the I think we could share the link in the chat. But the second thing is I don't think it's bad to work from home. I don't think it's bad to work from home. I don't think it's most very big business they started from their home, from their garage. And sometimes as startups, we don't have the money to go and rent a physical office space and make it the legal office space that you work in. So far you have somewhere. So I don't think theft is that. So theft would come and do a verification of your address. But they just want to know that you're real and the address is correct. It's okay to have your address as your home address. A lot of businesses actually started from their home, and it's fine. So we will drop the link in the chat. I'll get the link and run with the chat, and I think that's good.
Okay. Guess we'll be able to take one or two more questions. I think I saw Yvette. I am hoping I am pronouncing the name right. So, okay, so Yvette Cole, kindly go ahead. Please unmute and speak.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
So, my business is currently in the ideation stage, right? So my question is, can I still apply for the TEF grant, even though my business hasn't been registered yet?
Yeah, so I don't think I have the answer to this question because I don't know anybody that has applied without a CAC certificate, because the application I saw, the criteria for the first page is that you upload a CAC certificate. So I don't know if okay. So you have to actually upload a CAC certificate. So you're uploading two things: CAC certificates and then your national ID card, driver's license, NIN, or voter's card. But you have to submit the both of them. So I don't think it's possible for you to go past that phase without uploading a CAC certificate. But I'm not really sure you can. I don't think.
Okay. All right. You might also go to the FAQ section of the application page.
Yes.
To get more clarity on that. So I have just three more people, please, and make it snappy. Olga Lawrence, kindly go ahead with your question. Lawrence. Is Lawrence still on the call?
Okay. Good evening. Thank you for the insightful talk on this. So my question is this: I've been in business for some years, but like I've officially registered the business 2021, but I've not been using the company name. And currently, I would say I'm in scaling stage. So I don't have any employee. My employees are my brother, and also my wife for now. So am I eligible to, to apply, given maybe my employee status, and also maybe the business, being that the business has been in I've been in the business for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Thank you so much, Lawrence. So I went through the application myself, and I don't think there is any place in the application that states that you have to put in your number of employee. And that's why I said earlier that your current milestone can mean anything. It could be revenue, right? So nobody's telling you to go and tell them that you don't have employees.
Okay.
So you can actually do your application without including that. And that you're registered in 2021 is not a problem. So people that are registered in 2021 applied 2021, they didn't get. 2022, they didn't get. I know someone that applied 2021, 2022 that got 2025. So
okay,
I don't think that
Matthew.
I don't think it's
all right.
All right. I have second question. Sorry. The second question
short, please.
Okay, is it advisable to consult someone that can write those plans for you, like an expert to write a business plan for you, And also, is it advisable to write business plan and keep maybe prior to when you get something like this, like grant, so you can present it? What would be your advice on that?
Yeah. So how you intend to do your business plan? Personally, I can't say this is how you should do your business plan or who you should use and all. People consult and it's fine for them, right? But it's your business plan. So you just need to have your business plan, and whoever you're consulting should have an understanding of your business. So it doesn't give you a vague business plan. A business plan should be co-created. So you don't say, I want to do pure water. You now give it to somebody, person goes and bring a business plan for you. It has to be realistic. Your input has to be there. You're the one with the experience. So you should be able to pen down something and should maybe give somebody to expand on it. But that you're going to have a business plan that you as a founder did not create. Have I don't know if you know about businesses that are good on paper, and then you go to the when you try to implement those businesses, you now notice that those businesses are not viable. You're the one in the field, you're the one with the experience. So why are you giving somebody else to write your business plan? You might not have the total understanding. So I advise that there's a co-creation. You have somebody you're consulting, and the both of you are putting heads together, and then the both of you are bringing out a business plan from the experiences that you have and the research that has gone in. But for you to totally exclude yourself out of it, as a founder, I don't encourage that. So I hope
Okay,
that
so
works.
it should be co-created. Next person is Matthew. After Matthew, we have Chinyaka. Matthew, please go ahead with your question. I'll make it brief.
Good evening. Thank you very much for the opportunity. My question is very simple. Let's say I want to I want to register for the TEF, and then so I need your recommendation or advice. Is it okay personally? Do you think it's okay to have a core member of the team or a direct co-founder who has won the TEF grant before now? So let's say I haven't won and I want to register, and then my co-founder or a core team member has won, and I want to put them forward during the application as a team member. What would you say to that?
So I feel like the only place in the application, this year own, where you have to indicate whether you have a team member that is at the end, and that's at the declaration page. Initially, up until last year, you would have to upload a founder's agreement that gives you the go-ahead to apply when you say you have a co-founder. But this year, I think it's at the declaration stage where you have to, they ask whether you have a partner who has won TEF and all that, or is an alumni. And if you click yes, you have to put the person's name. I think that's just all. But I'm not part of the governing board, so I don't know how that particular answer weighs in on your acceptance or not. So I can't give that answer. But I think that's just the only place you have to impute that.
Okay, thank you so much. Let's have the last person to speak. Chinyaka. Hello, kindly go ahead. Chinyaka, are you still there? Please unmute and ask your question.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. My question is, while last week I tried registering for this, like I did my registrations and all that, and then while I inputted my password and my email, they brought out profile information. And while I was filling it, I had to log out. And for me to log in again, I was not able to log in. So I want to ask, do you not go out of the page while registering, or must you stay until you're done registering? Or is it technical issue from their side or from my side?
Okay, so thank you. So I feel the first thing you need to check is if you've completed your registration. So there are two things. If you completed your registration, you get an email that will tell you to activate. So you need to check your email if you completed your registration, if you've activated, and then it will redirect you to your login, right? Then second thing is it could possibly be a technical issue, and you can reach out to the tech support, and they can help you they can assist you on that. But I don't think if you're going through your application, you can save and continue later. So I don't think there is any there's any aspect of the application that you can't leave and come back to. And that's why I'm asking you to first of all check your email, check your spam email if you got the activation email, because once you finish that registration portal where you're supposed to put in all your names, your detail, your phone number, your email, and everything, and you're creating your profile, they will send you an activation email. You're supposed to go to that email, click, it will direct you back and logs you in, and then you can start your application. So check if that process was completed. If it was completed, then you have to reach out to the tech support team.
Thank you very much, Chiwendu. It's been a very, very, very insightful one. So I just want you to give a quick answer to this, and that will be all. Somebody says, can I get through getting the grant without a team?
Yes, you can. You can be the only person. You can get, because the application is, the reason why I can say is I've gone through the application this year, and I feel like you guys have it easier. We had it harder. I feel like they're trying to simplify the process as time goes, right? So you can actually be the only one in your team and still get the grants, and it's okay. It's fine.
Okay, thank you so very much, Chiwendu.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Blessing, and thank you so much for being with us up to this point. Thank you very much, Chiwendu. Thank you to everyone that has stayed with us up to this point. Can everyone hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Blessing.
So there'll be many questions on whether the sessions, whether there will be recordings available. I would like to tell you that the session is available on YouTube channel, on our YouTube channel. And I put in the link here earlier. So you can go there, you can rewatch it, you can go through the session, you can go through it when you're applying for your grant and watch it step by step so that you can know what you're applying for. We also send the link to everyone that has registered to reward. Another thing that is that whoever wants to join our community member, there's a link that I put in the chat box. I'm also putting it there now again. So you can click on the link and join our community. We have a number of entrepreneurs, MSME in Africa that in that community. So if you want to join, there's a link in the chat box. Now click on it. If you are not there already, please, if you are in one of our communities, do not join this. This is the community 8. But if you are in one of the communities already, please do not join. But if you are not on any community platform, kindly join this one. Also, we'll be having sessions, other sessions from time to time, and we'll let you know when we have it. But we'll let you know when the business growth series will be, when the next one will be. And also, remember that we have MSM Africa Growth Factory 1 last year. If you were there last year, if you joined the last Growth Factory, if you made it, can you drop your comments in the chat box? There were so many things that we learned. There were many people that got mentorship, and then they are still scaling. I mean, they are still going through this thing. They have not recovered yet from it. And so we're going to be having the Growth Factory 2.0 to take place very soon, and we'll announce it when your applications open. But for you not to miss any of our program, I'll encourage you to join our WhatsApp community. You can also go to msmafricaonline.com. Post daily news and opportunities on our platform for all entrepreneurs, startups, for you to scale. There is enough information that you need there. So I will encourage you to always go there, msmafricaonline.com. I'll drop the link also. And remember to join the community. Thank you for joining us. See you next time.
Thank you for joining, everybody.